Hi, everyone. Welcome to Catholic Singles. Today, we're talking about should you text or message or reach out to your crush and or your ex? So maybe your ex is your crush, but we're going to talk about both of those things. It's really, should you reach out to your crush, and then ex falls into that. Welcome. Happy New Year. I wish you a wonderful and blessed New Year. Hope you had an excellent Christmas as well. Wonderful season. And yeah, so let's just get into it because I gotta go. I gotta get ready. So, if you don't know me, my name is Alexandra, and I am helping people to date intentionally toward holy matrimony. Founded a Catholic singles ministry in my city, and started to create content because by trade, I'm a content creator, and so I decided let me put some content out there and help people that are struggling in finding their person, finding the one that God has for them. If your ex texts you Happy New Year or Happy Holidays or reaches out, I created a video and I posted that today that gives some guidance and some things to think about for you to respond or not respond. And if you hear some background noise, that's my dog, my little doggy. Little quick housekeeping. I did a live on Christmas Day and somebody commented on my beautiful lamp that I should light it. And unfortunately, when I light it, you can't even see it. So, uh, so that's it. And this happens to be casting like a shadow, you see. So I can't even light it, unfortunately. And so I'm putting kind of trying to create my background here, and I have these pretty right over here. These those are real poinsettias, and the others are fake though. Shh. All right, so let's get started. I'm gonna try to go run through this quickly. Have my little list. I was inspired to do this because I created the video about what happens if your ex reaches out to you, and then I thought, well, Alexandra, what if you're alone or lonely or sad or feeling vulnerable, and you want to reach out to your ex or your crush, right? And so if that's you, totally normal, right? And I think that, I'm going to give you some guidelines on how you can make some distinctions between reaching out to your crush and reaching out to your ex if your crush is your ex. So, all right, so let's get started. If the person you want to reach out to is your crush, so somebody you have not officially been in a relationship with, not somebody that you've ever broken up. It could be somebody you maybe went on a date with a while back, or maybe were, friends, you were kind of like, it's complicated. Somebody who is your crush, who you still have feelings for, you still like, and you really want to, to reach out to them and get back connected with them. So if there was no relationship before with this person, like no official relationship, then I absolutely think you should reach out to them. Except one caveat to that is if it's just like a friends with benefits type thing, or a sexual thing, or something where you're not going to be intentional with them toward holy matrimony, then I don't think that you should reach out to them. But if it's somebody that you really like, you genuinely like, you think it's they're a godly person, and you'd like to connect with them again, then absolutely, I think you should reach out. So this is such a good way to, you text them Happy New Year. You wish them something really sincere and happy, have a blessed New Year, something really sweet, nice. And it's a really great way to reconnect with with them, especially if you haven't talked in a while, right? So if you haven't talked to them in a while, you're thinking about them, and you really want to reconnect, go for it. Send them a really sweet message. Now, here's where I would suggest that if you want to continue the conversation with them, ask them after your Happy New Year message or whatever nice message you want to make. Ask them some questions to keep the conversation going. and to give them a clear sign that you want to continue talking. And so, if possible, make them open ended questions. So, not yes or no questions, but questions where they actually have to answer like a sentence at least, right? Something where that's getting them to answer something that you have an opportunity to have some dialogue. And so, because if you just say Happy New Year, then that could be like, I send happy, everybody sends a Happy New Year text to everybody. That doesn't mean anything. So make it a little more like have that follow up question or questions where you really get to engage with them. So don't take it personally if they don't respond right away or if they don't respond ever, right? So you don't know exactly, like, this could be an opportunity for you to see if they're interested or if they're not interested. Like, if you never get any response from them, then maybe they're, not that interested in you. And that's okay. Like, sometimes we need to take an action to see what reaction we get, and that's information that we can use to move forward in our lives, right? So another thing that's really interesting, if they respond back and it seems like you've been engaging in a two-way dialogue, maybe like into the new year or maybe over a couple of days, please invite them to meet up. If you're a woman, it doesn't have to be a date. You can invite them to go to church, to coffee. If there's a young adult ministry you're part of or a group that you're part of that's having some type of a meetup or a pickup game or something like that, invite them, please. If you're a man, feel free to make that an actual date, right? Actually invite them on a date, but same goes for you. It doesn't have to be an official date. You can invite them to church, to coffee, or as a casual meetup with a group that you're part of. But this is where you start to take things more to the next level, right? And so you obviously, if you're connecting and you're having good two-way dialogue, then there's something there, right? Like, you have at least an emotional connection, a friendship. And so I think that's a really great segue. Don't let it be next holiday before you connect with them again, right? Be brave, be courageous. And if you like this person and you see there potentially being a future, or you'd like a future potentially with this person, then take it to the next level. If you're a woman and you're wondering if the guy's going to ask you out and maybe it's been a day or two and he hasn't, just invite him to mass or to coffee, right? It's not a big deal. I used to think that was such a big deal to invite a man to do anything, and it was so wrong, and absolutely no. It's just casual, right? It doesn't mean anything. And if you actually do like him, this is like, my friend used to refer to it as like dropping the hanky, right? It's a little, back in the day when they said like dropping the hanky in the olden days, was a way for a man to pick up the hanky, give it to the woman, and it kind of was like a gesture of a man doing something nice, but the woman had to drop the hanky first, right? The woman had to give that first sign. And so in a way, this is like that dropping the hanky, so to speak. So I would absolutely suggest doing that. And let's see. So if they respond, you have a good connection, then that's great. Like, continue the momentum and move things forward. And a really great way to keep the momentum going is to ask those open-ended questions so that you continue the dialogue. If you make statements and you don't see like there's no connection or there's no momentum moving forward, it could stop the conversation, and then you have to find another reason to get back in touch with the person. So just continue that dialogue, continue the momentum going forward in the conversation. If they just respond back with something that is very like short, curt, like doesn't really have any engaging conversation, you might want to try one more open-ended question to see if they respond. But if they don't respond right away, don't take it personally. It could be legitimately that they're really busy and doing things, and just don't really, I don't know, they might be overwhelmed with a lot of things. But if they never respond, then or always respond with one word answers or just an emoji or something like that, then it's probably a good sign that they are not super interested in pursuing anything or in taking it to the next level. So maybe you could just then at that point you can decide whether you want to just kind of like friend zone the person, and that's okay too, right? Like I said a little bit ago, making sometimes we need to take these steps to see if the person is interested, and that goes the same for a woman, right? A lot of times we've been told as women, especially Christian women, Catholic women, that the man needs to do all the work, but a lot of times women do nothing. And so in fact, in some cases women show less interest to the men that they are interested in. And so let's be in 2025, let's be brave, let's be courageous, because love is courageous, right? If you're called to marriage, right? Men are called to die for their wives. They're called to give up their lives for their wives. And women are to submit, they're to respect their husbands. And this takes courage. And so I encourage you to have courage. All right. So that's if the person is your crush, right? That no relationship. If the person that you're interested in, if your crush is your ex, then I would say this is a big fat maybe. It's not an X yet, but it's a maybe. I'm going to talk about things. So I would say proceed carefully. Back to the same thing, like when we were talking about your crush, if it's a really either was a super manipulative or toxic relationship, or you are probably just going to end up hooking up with them, or if things ended on bad terms, or if there was maybe like a manipulative ending, or it was just whatever it was toxic, it's not something that you think might lead to holy matrimony, then I advise you to not re-engage them. Even if you think, oh, well, just sending them a happy new year text is nice, but no, you're basically it could be like playing with fire, because that could reignite something in them, and then they might pursue you, and in a not healthy way, right? So if you feel like you want to reach out to your ex, I really encourage you to reflect and see if like, are you feeling sad? Are you feeling lonely? Are all your friends maybe out with their boyfriends or girlfriends tonight for New Year's or for the holidays, and you're just feeling really vulnerable and you want to talk to your ex again? But if that was a really toxic relationship or a toxic ending, then instead of reaching out to your ex, I really encourage you to reach out to your friends and family and connect with them. And if you have to be a third wheel or a fifth wheel or a seventh wheel, that is going to be more fulfilling. Even if you feel sad in the moment, it's going to feel more fulfilling than reaching out to a past partner that things didn't end well, because it is not going to end well again. The person, it might end up opening up new wounds, or old wounds rather. They might open up old wounds, and then it really probably will not end up well for either of you. I always say, if you're going to look back at an ex-boyfriend, certainly people have reconnected with old flames or past boyfriends or girlfriends, past people that they dated. And I would always say, if the thing that you both broke up about, whatever it was that you broke up about, if that still exists, if that hasn't been resolved, then absolutely don't go back into the relationship. As an example, if the person that you were dating was immature and irresponsible or couldn't commit, and there's signs that that's still the case today, then don't even go there. If you were the one that was going through something, maybe you were going through a bad breakup, or maybe had some grief or whatever it was, or trauma, and you haven't fully resolved that, or at least worked toward it, then that's going to come back into the relationship, right? And so I would say, again, bad terms with either your ex, or you ended in bad terms with your ex, or if you had a toxic or just a physical relationship, or a friends with benefits or hookup relationship with a crush, or complicated situationship, then do not connect with the person, even just to say happy new year, something sweet. Move on. And if they reach out to you, why don't I suggest that you watch the video that I that I made and posted today. All right. So, what if though, comma, it ended on good terms, you ended on good terms. Or maybe it's been a while and maybe you ran into them or you saw them post on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok and you're like, "Oh, the feelings start to come back again," right? It could be that you're lonely or sad and feeling alone, and maybe you're feeling vulnerable and want to reconnect with them. But maybe there it is really reigniting that thing that you really fell in love with them originally, right? And again, if like they have not changed from or you or they have not changed from that point, then I would tread very carefully. But if you feel like you've grown and they've grown and matured and you feel the feelings still, then I would suggest that you send them a very cordial message, like the one that you would send to your crush, or the one where I said a bit ago, where you ask them some open-ended questions, and you keep the dialogue going. Like the dialogue flowing. So I would say keep in mind that they may not be interested in rekindling anything with you. So you have to be prepared for them not to respond or for them to maybe even yeah, like you need to be prepared for radio silence, for them to maybe be in a new relationship, which could hurt if you really care about them, or maybe even potentially a negative response from them. So if you feel like, you feel confident enough in yourself that if any of that happens, you'll be okay, you'll survive, and you can move on, then send them a really nice, sweet message and keep that dialogue flowing, going back to like what we talked about with the crush, right? But treat it like a new relationship or a new person, like maybe like an old friend, new relationship, but like, tread carefully, but you can definitely see it like a beginning, like a new beginning, and reach out to them that way. If you don't think that you would handle it well if they didn't respond back or if they responded in a negative way, then I would definitely say that you err on the side of caution and not reach out at all. So, one, if you're kind of in between, right? Maybe you're not sure how they would respond, you generally are optimistic, but you maybe have some doubts, then one option you can do is that you can send them a really sweet, cordial message, really simple, but like that's personal. Maybe something like wishing you a wonderful new year and many blessings for you and your family. Maybe if there were something like you can make it personal, like add a little touch, like if there was like a family tradition that they had for New Year's, like hope you're enjoying your 12 grapes or whatever, like whatever it is, you can add some like little personal twist to it to really make it personal, and see how they respond, right? Assess how they respond. And if they either respond to you or maybe you want to just ask some follow-up questions, have those open-ended questions to see if the dialogue continues and see if they respond, and then you can take it from there. So, just to kind of recap, if it's your crush or somebody that you ended a relationship with on good terms, and you are thinking about them and you want to send them a message, by all means, send them a really cordial message, make it personal, and ask follow up questions, open ended questions to get the dialogue going and rolling. If things seem to be going well, then I absolutely suggest that you invite them to do something in person, mass, coffee, maybe don't go for dinner. That might be too much, too intense, but something super low key. Or if you're going to be playing a pickup game, you can invite them to play. Or if you do a sport or a hobby, you can invite them to do something, but something casual and fun, right? Or it doesn't have to necessarily like super fun, but like something casual you could do something together. If it's like a situationship, an ex, a hookup, a friend with benefits, something like that, or the relationship didn't end well, then my sincere suggestion is that you not even just a plain happy new year text, nothing. Keep the distance, because it's really easy. The flesh is tempted, and if you It can bring up old wounds or old temptations. If you haven't fully resolved those, then it's just too much temptation, and I suggest that you just not do it at all. Move on. And especially if you are intentional about dating toward holy matrimony, if you close out those old chapters, like this is the perfect time, close out the old and welcome the new. Have new standards for what you want in your life, for your future spouse relations, for your future marriage, right? And that starts with being clear about what you don't want, right? Boundaries on what you don't want, so that you can be clearer about what you do want. And on that note, I'm going to be doing a new year, new goals for your relationship, something like that. I don't know exactly what I'm going to call it over the next couple of days, kind of like a vision for your life. So stay tuned for that. And with that, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Would love to hear what was your biggest takeaway in the comments. And I wish you a blessed, happy new year. Remember to trust your intuition always, right? Your intuition, guided by Holy Spirit, can help you. Always pray about it. If there's ever anything that you have any doubt, pray about it. Ask for guidance from a trusted friend, spiritual advisor, or even a priest. And yeah, always pray about it. You can't go wrong if you at least ask your intentions to God and see what the answer is. All right, everyone, have a blessed new year, and God bless you. All right, everyone, take care. Bye bye.